So, hello, we'll get started. If you're out there in internet land, please put a chat on the screen and that will help me connect even more richly with you. My name's aLex Levin. We're here through Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube portal. It's Sunday, June 26th on the East Coast of the USA, 10 a.m. We meet here every Sunday at 10 a.m. There have been some rare times where I've needed to post a video recorded beforehand when I haven't been available. And please do check out our rich community. On YouTube, Annie is here on Wednesday evenings and I'm here Sunday mornings. But we also have a whole cadre of teachers that are teaching in live at our studio and in workshops, and we have guest teachers coming and a rich, supportive community. My topic today, and I'm just going to make myself a couple notes that I just thought of, zoom in out, and I forgot the second point, is the Tao that can be spoken is not, or told is not the Tao. It's from, I think it's the first verse of the Tao Te Ching. There's so much to be spoken and engage in these days. I don't know if you can see my pin. It's a Band-Aid pin that my friend gave me, a friend of hers, for various causes. This is the Ukraine flag. We have, so anytime you would tune into this video, I'm sure there are poignant things happening that concern you, your family, our communities, the planet. Currently, and it feels dire. The economy has difficulties. We're polarized in views, and by itself, that may not pose a problem, except that our various groups have a hard time coming together in any kindness, in with respect, actually. Sometimes at the same time, it may be necessary to feel angry, to not just put your head in the sand. But I'm actually going to have us kind of put our head in the sand. Actually, maybe a different way I'd like to say it. We'll put our feet firmly in the sand. We could pretend we're at the beach. Or you can be on your floor, on your carpet, wherever you are, but we could imagine we're going to firmly stand our bodies right here, and we'll have our head in the stars, in the community, in our body, in the community. We're going to together practice a gesture that I learned from my teachers at the Embodied Life School. And we will, from there, just segue into a meditation. So the Tao that can be told, the Tao that can be spoken, is not the Tao. And the Tao, what is the Tao? So we are in a conundrum of how do we say what the Tao is, the way, the truth. But those words are not it. And yet, we need to engage in the words. We need to express. We need to be part of. If we don't do that, we have our head in the sand, and that could be an option for times. We may need that burrowing in. My dog likes to burrow even on a warm day. He likes to burrow his head under something when he's resting. Maybe to sort of like we put an eye pillow on to just to take our senses inward. So it's very important that we engage, and we have many, many days while this feels in this moment for me like a time of incredible challenges and time of risk to a lot of people, including, as my teacher said last Sunday, bombs are dropping on people we may know, people we may be connected to in various ways, and other tragedies. Other tragedy doesn't even seem like the right word. In any case, many, many words. What we do sometimes need to, so we need to zoom in to the right expression, the right words. I talk about that a lot. The right words for this moment, including the emotion is here, the person that's here, the people that are here, um, so the institution that is here, the venue, the audiences, the person who's speaking has to consider their own environment. And that is I'll call that all a zooming in. And yet we will be lost, we will miss, we will, and there's not any problem with any of those, as Eric Schiffman often says. There's no problem with that, but it will not bring us toward a place of harmony, toward a place of supporting each other, toward a place of peace. So we need to zoom out in this time together here in this next 20 some minutes is for zooming out. So we're going to be standing for this movement. I'll be stepping back. And after that, what you want to have is either you could go into a standing meditation, that is an option, or you can just come down to a sitting position or to laying down for the stillness silence part, which is the meditation. Let me just shift my camera angle a little as I stand up and find a place that you can stand on the floor. And with your feet about, I don't know, my feet are about 10, 11 inches apart, but for yours, hip width or a little farther than hip width apart, just that you feel quite stable. So I'm going to bring my feet a little closer because one leg is going to step forward in this practice in a moment. But first, find yourself rooted, your feet in the sand, if you want to pretend you're on the beach or the dirt or on the grass, or right here. I happen to be standing on a really nice small carpet that was my parents'. It might be silk. It's absolutely lovely on my feet. And I'm going to just shift a little bit more weight into my heels without doing anything, just allowing the waterfalls of connections and fluidity in my body to settle with gravity. And as I settle, as I feel this downward movement of anchoring down, there is also a levity that's happening simultaneously, a levity, a buoyancy in this vertical dimension. And I've played with that quite a bit here together, and we play with that in yoga. This alignment with the gravitational pull. And so you may feel shifts, little shifts as we let go, to let gravity support us, to let our bone structure support us, and all the organs and um, tensegrity of our softer tissue than the bones support us. And we let the breath as it comes in and out, that's also a buoyant support, as well as life support. And there's a good bit of weight that's coming down into the heels. Which part of the heel? You might just be noticing. So we're still sort of on a zooming in, and yet we're a little prior to language here. And the front part of our feet, the long bones, the carpals, the da, 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 forgot my bones names. Long bones that come to the big arch of the foot and out through the toes, the small bones of the toes. There's less weight in those, but this sort of spreads out the weight. And then let's step the right foot, just a small step forward. You can't really see my foot, but from my feet being right next to each other, parallel, I step my right foot forward. And then I reshift, you can shift weight to the right foot and leg and back a couple times. But I'll land most of the weight now into my left leg, my standing leg. I'll bring my hands Left hand on the heart and then right hand on top. And breathe. The most weight is in the back leg, but your hip is not just limp. Your whole column of strength is intact. My eyes are closed. You can do closed eyes or open. Open eyes is nice. I'm actually going to open my eyes because I'm going to look forward. And with an in-breath, I shift my weight forward onto my right leg. I open my arms out horizontally to all communities around me, the space around me. And my back heel is lifted, my uh, left heel and my toe and the ball of my left foot is there. And it's been a long inhale. So let's take an exhale and bow as we bend the left knee. And both feet are fully on the ground now. And then inhaling, open the arms out again as we shift onto the right leg, but the left heel lifted. And exhale, bowing, bringing the hands back to the heart, bowing. And I could tell you, as we do this a few more times, that the gesture there of the bow and sort of the rounded heart bowed forward, exhaling, and a bend in the left knee. And then when we inhale, we'll just keep the arms open. Pulled my hair back. And the arms are open, and we're breathing, and we're open to the world. And yet we're right here. We establish that verticality. We're not going to be thrown off balance by what's around us. We can stay right here strongly. And finally, one last exhale, coming in and bowing and feeling, staying in the bow, feeling the expression of this gesture, feeling it first in the how it comes through the senses, and then the mind quickly labels it, can quickly label it, and it's useful to do that with as much veracity, with as much accuracy, and be honest for yourself. Maybe this doesn't feel like humility. Maybe it feels like just awkwardness because you're learning something new. Inhale back up, and then we'll step back to feet together to our neutral position. That's the first part of this gesture, and there's a second part. And as we come back, something is different and shifted. I doubt you feel exactly the same in this posture that we call mountain pose in yoga as before. If I were to report, I'd say there's a effervescence in my belly and heart area that wasn't here before. For yourself, out loud in your space, what is it? What is present now for you? And that mind sounds like it was a positive thing. It's really kind of neutral, but it feels fun for me. And it doesn't have to be that. It could be maybe some kind of conflict. And you see, I can also do hand gestures. That's an expression again. It's not the Tao it's not the true Tao, but it's an expression of the Tao. A kind of rubbing, like something is different for me here. Something's not clear. I'm just making an example. That's not true for me right now. And we're breathing. And now our right leg will stay the back leg as we step our left foot just a half step forward and out to the side. Toes turned a little out to the side, and the heel of the right leg lifts. The knees can be soft, they don't have to be locked, but there's a stability there. We're breathing, and you can just shift back and forth to where you bring your weight fully onto back leg, the right leg, and then shifting to the left leg with the right knee bent a little, perhaps, and the heel lifted, but the ball of the foot firmly on the ground. So we really have a very stable structure still. Ooh, lost my stability a moment there. And then with our weight on the back leg and the front leg, the left leg a little more inert, still the left hand on the heart first, the right palm over that. And this time when we'll move to open our arms with an exhale. So wait for your next exhale. As you exhale, open the arms, looking out in the distance. Arms wide apart, akimbo, like a reaching out, and yet very firmly right here. And stay here for a few breaths. We're doing this a little different than the other side. As you're looking out, you're sensing in front of you, behind you, above you, below you, out to the sides, circumferentially, and just feeling how you can be stable and strong and involved, yet right here. And on your inhale, right hand, we stay upright. We're looking out. And so before I give you an interpretation, feel it. Feel how it felt to come back with eyes open and head up, not looking up to the stars, but forward, engaged. And now exhale as we open out. You may notice this has a really different feel. Inhale, coming in, very different, not to bow here on the second side. Exhale, opening, inhale as we bring the hands back to the heart a few times at the pace of your breath, perhaps pausing after out breath and in breath. Feel of inhaling and coming back and staying present to the world. And then let's step the feet back to our original starting position. Perhaps closing your eyes to sort of take the senses inward and scan. Let the attention, let your attention, our attention scan what is here now. And reporting it out loud if it feels may feel a little hokey, but it's a oh, before I had hello effervescence in the core of me. Now I feel like almost a strong shield on my front, like a shield of armor on my heart, but not protective, but not stifling, and not, I don't know what it is. It feels strong and yet not rigid. Allowing my breath, allowing ease. And you could wait for a moment and see what else is there that we could freshly name. And this naming is important. It's a vital part of our being. And yet, part of this practice was zooming out more to the opening and feeling before words, prior to words, the felt sense of the integration of body, emotion, mind, surroundings, breath. So a few more breaths and perhaps labeling freshly for yourself what is here for you now, honestly, accurately. So if you hear yourself say something, like earlier I said something and it wasn't quite it, that's one of the benefits of this. You hear yourself saying it and it's like, no, that's not quite it. That's not the truth here for me. So take a moment or a few moments or many moments to find the right word for yourself. And then segue with as little friction as possible to your meditation seat. Or standing, you might stand, you might lie down. And now we will truly be more zoomed out. We will linger in that space where the Tao that can be in the Tao before it is told. This first few moments or minutes of our stillness, dhyana meditation, might just, as we settle, feel into what support is here. Find how we can let ourselves be held. Sometimes I've heard it taught that meditation is, and this could be even in the time of engagement, a moment of meditation can be this stepping back, a retreat of sorts. So rather than being engaged in the whatever we're zoomed into, just step back. For many of us, we have a strong sense of responsibility to be engaged. And so it may feel like we're abandoning that if we step back to enjoy something, to take a care of ourselves in some way. But you may find that it's really essential to wellness, to wholeness, to allow for that stepping back. And part of what this practice is about is to be skillful about, to have practice and have skill in noticing when we're so engaged in something, so grasping or pushing away. We may not even know it, but practice helps us to come to know that, and know that while that may be extremely important, we won't lose anything if we zoom out for a while. That we still could hold on and we can zoom out, but the holding on will take on a completely different character when we come from the Tao. So as we sit, and our intent is to simply be here, simply rest as awareness, likely with periods of movement. I find it sometimes in my eyes. And when I notice that, which is this amazing gift and skill that I noticed, and then it's almost just natural that the eyes can choose to settle. And if they don't, it's fine as well. So our movement was an engaging, an inquiry, an exploration. Excuse me. And now, in contrast, register, observe, continue the practice of self study lightly from a stillness, from the perspective of awareness, which is wide open and boundless, timeless. Couple more minutes just to give you a frame of reference. And another bow. Thank you for joining me for this zooming out, for this resting in the Tao before the telling of what it is. And the telling is super important, but if we don't go into the resting into it, that which cannot be named, truly, we lose our way, I think, and there's painful, in my experience, painful consequences. And when you might, as homework, you might notice in your interactions. I know I have ample opportunities where I have zoomed into something. I've engaged the usual way, and most of the times I'm deep into it before I'm able to zoom out, and I'm a little um, with some regret that, whoa, once again, I went that way. And yet, an important note for forgiveness there. Maybe we'll talk about that soon, another week. That forgiveness, when we can really not punish ourselves for that and just keep remembering, oh, I could have stepped back. There will come a time when you will step back, stay with what's here in your experience, true in your own mind, heart, body, and spirit, and label that, feel it, pre-words, mixed with words maybe, but that's fine. And say hello to it, get to know it, and it will inform what we need to do and how we can do it most kindly, most respectfully, most skillfully, most. Ciao, ciao. Thank you. See you next time.